Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back once again. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go back to doing some of the more offbeat things that I have in my collection and things that have grown in immense popularity in the EDC community, and that's the hand spinners, the fidget spinners, the finger spinners, whatever it is that you want to call them. This one is the Pepyakka 3 made by Custom Knife Factory. And this, of course, follows the Pepyakka 2.0 that was made by Custom Knife Factory. And that was made to match a couple of their very popular knife designs. As you can see, the finishes that matched up very, very well. Now, I've had my 2.0 for quite a while. I think I got this back in January or February. These are long sold out. These were $250, and honestly, this has probably been my absolute favorite spinner that there is. The smoothness, the overall creativity in the design, the fact that you can lay this down on the desk, give it a spin, and it's going to spin for over 2 minutes on its own, which kind of gives you that dual purpose. You've got something that you can fidget with, and if you're the kind of person that maybe at your office or on your desk or something, you may have spinning tops, this can actually replace that by sitting there and spinning for a couple of minutes, just like a top. For those of you that don't remember, going back to the original fidget spinners, and that's the torque bar, that one does not do that because the buttons aren't raised. So what you've got here, I still feel is the best spinner that's ever been made. I mean, there have been a lot of amazing spinners that have come on the market. It's become a very flooded market. Everybody and their brother, literally everybody, is making a spinner if they have any access to the machines that can machine out this material. There are people out there making this out of cheap 3D printed plastic and selling them on Etsy and stuff like that for like 20 bucks, and I think even less. Yeah, there's obviously a greater degree of precision in something like a torque bar, than a $10 piece of plastic. But it really depends on what your needs are. If all you need is just something purely to spin and to keep your mind occupied and keep you from being jittery if you can't go outside and smoke a cigarette or something, pretty much anything's going to work. Let's get right down to it. But if you want something a little more special, you get into something like this. It's like buying into one of their knives. Yeah, you can go buy a knife at Walmart for 20 bucks, but that's just simply purely a utilitarian thing. This does the same utilitarian stuff, but it's obviously a hell of a lot nicer, and it's just a higher quality thing to own. Listen, we could all wear $5 shoes from, well, they don't really make shoes for $5, but we could all wear, let's say, $20 shoes from Payless. But most people don't. They'll buy, $200 Nikes and stuff like that. It's not that one does things differently than the other. Generally, the higher quality means better, but a lot of times you're buying it just because you like it more, and it's a higher degree of quality. And the craftsmanship can be substantially different. It's really no different when it comes to these guys here. So let's get 2.0 out of the way, since we're not really discussing that one, and get to the new version 3. Now, the one thing that Custom Knife Factory does better than most everybody in this market is the fact that they're using multiple components, and they're using some great materials, and they're obviously adding in tritium as well. Now on this one, they only put tritium here in the center part of the contraption, I guess you could say, whereas on the 2.0 they put them on the ends of each of the 3 wings. Now this was done in steel and titanium. The center caps, I believe, were titanium. These blue caps here on either side are in titanium. This is steel, and I believe the connecting arms in between are titanium. So it's pretty lightweight, but it's obviously got a lot more heft than a pure titanium piece like this in the torque bar. Now you see the differences here in the amount of workmanship that goes into them. And again, there is still one of my favorites to spin, really, is the torque bar. Now, I'm not talking about design there. There's just really, I don't know, there's something about it. It's slim, it's lightweight, depending on the materials that you choose, and all the surfaces are smooth, and it's great. But when you're talking about a machined work of art. I mean, Custom Knife Factory really has them beat. Even if you get into the really high dollar, $500, $800, $1,000 custom made torque bars, because this is the midtech, it's still basically this. Your weights will be done in different materials, and the caps will be done in different materials, and there could be inlays of tritium and stuff, but it's still basically this. It's going to be the main body, it's going to be the set of weights, which this is more like a unibody construction on the SB, on the midtech, and then you have the buttons. Here, holy shit, man, look at this. You've got the center portion here with the caps, which they're very, very large caps. You have the bearings, obviously, inside of there. The tritium machined in there. These individual, I want to call them wings because I can't think of any better terminology for them. The buttons that go onto the wings. Now, these wings are overlaid. I believe this is still titanium here, but you're getting copper overlaid that. Then you're getting titanium here that's been anodized blue, beautifully machined. They've put a lot of time and a lot of expense into these things. They really, really have. And I want you to think about this, and also, by the way, they're all each individually numbered, as you see right there. One of the interesting things about this, I want you to break down the costs. Torque bar SB, depending on the materials, is between $170 and around $200. And that was the last time that I checked when they first came out. This is one of the prototypes. So you're paying a lot of money for that. A lot of people can very easily justify that. I know I was able to, not a big deal. This is $220. So if you get this in the titanium, which I believe this might have been the most expensive variation, I don't recall, but let's call that $200, and this is $20 more. There is a significant amount more detail that goes into the manufacturing and assembly of the Pepyakka than of the torque bar. Now again, please don't think that I'm talking down to the torque bar. I keep mentioning I really, really do love it, and it's my favorite one to carry and to spin. However, when you're talking bang for the buck, you've got the expense of the tritium tubes, you have the labor of installing the tritium tubes, you have all of the machine time that goes into all of the detail work. You see all the milling that's been done here on the edges of the wings. Really nice shaping that's been done. No real harsh edges anywhere. You know, I wanted to say, I know I said copper on the beginning of this, but it obviously it doesn't look like copper. Copper would be a much different color. This looks more like brass. They have it listed on their website as titanium, copper, steel, and then ceramic and steel bearings. However, this absolutely looks like brass to me. So I'm going to go against what their website says, even though their website says copper and they're the ones that make it. I'm going to say that's brass because it's certainly not a copper color. So then you have the brass over that, then you have these titanium buttons here that are nicely milled and then anodized blue. I just think they've done a fantastic job overall. Now, when doing the spinning, it's hard to really put into words because you're not here touching it. When I spin and I drop my torque bar, I can very slightly feel the bearings as they're being spun around in there. It's not a bad thing, it's just something that's noticeable compared to this. This is just glass smooth. There's barely even a hint through my fingertips that anything's even happening. Now they're very, very well balanced. The only thing that had bothered me on, there it is, on my 2.0, and it happens a little bit here too, and you'll notice it if it's spinning and you go to bring it vertical, you'll kind of feel a little bit of play in there, a little bit of wobble. Yeah, there it is. And the 2.0 only had it very, very slightly. And there was really, yeah, so there's no difference there. In that transition, you don't really feel it. Whereas with this one, you absolutely do. And it could just be because this is better balanced as it's spinning by having the three-sided weights. This is your more traditional type of spinner. Now, I enjoy this one more. There's something about this that when it's spinning, it's just really, really nice. However, this takes up a shitload of room in the pocket. Now, if you're a typical EDC guy, EDC generally for most people is going to be their practical tools and practical things they carry throughout the day. These things are a recent addition to what people call EDC. So, you know, you've probably got a folding knife there in one of your pockets. For me, it's my right hip pocket. And I don't put anything else in my pockets next to my knives. I don't want anything to scratch them up, bang them up any more than they need to be. So that pocket's called for there. My front left pocket is going to be where the key fob is for my car. I don't mind dropping something in there with it. Clipped inside of that is going to be my flashlight. And then my back pockets are for my wallet and for my cell phone. So, you know, your pockets are already pretty full, and if you're going to throw this in there with any sizable key fob, or if you still have a car that uses a key, your keys, this might be just a little bit too much for you to carry. Whereas this guy is a lot more slim and compact. It's easier to carry. This is 2.5 ounces, so was the original. Oddly enough, they are the exact same weight, 2.4 ounces. Kind of crazy when you think about it. The actual length, if you take them, I don't know if I can really do that. If you kind of overlay them, they really end up being the same length, but you have the one single unit here versus 3 arms sticking out. So for practicality, yeah, this is going to be a hell of a lot easier to carry around with you. As far as spinning it goes, it's effortless. I mean, it glides. It's almost like you're not doing anything. You just give it a little touch, and it just takes off, and it just starts spinning like wild. As far as the duration, I personally don't care about the duration because it's a fidget spinner. That means you're fidgeting with it. You're constantly doing this back and forth where you're stopping it and you're starting it again, you're reversing the direction, because that's what it's there for. It's like it's replicating you clicking a pen or doing something else annoying that you would do. Now, let's say you're stuck in a meeting and you're a smoker and you can't get outside and smoke. You start getting a little bit fidgety. Instead of tapping your foot or clicking a pen or cracking your knuckles, you're going to be playing with one of these. And when they're not sitting on a piece of carbon fiber and spinning, they're silent. So when you're holding it and you're spinning it, you're not bothering anybody else. You might hear them spinning here on this surface. But for me, spin times don't mean shit because I'm not just flicking it and then holding it in my fingers and watching it spin for 2 minutes. But I did time this. When this first came out, somebody asked me about it, so I did a quick thing and I timed it, and it came out to over 2 minutes. It was like 2 minutes and 17 seconds or something. And as I spin them together, I've noticed that this one, the new one, the number 3, will spin for just about as long. So if you care about the long spinning, there you go. You've got the steel and ceramic bearings. You've got the 2 tritium inserts. Mine are done in green. I don't know if they're doing different colors or not. They're all numbered. It's a limited edition. They're doing 2,888 pieces. I don't know what the reasoning is for picking that particular number, but there you have it. So if you've seen any of the Pepyakkas, the original was super long and super big and super heavy. And while it was technically beautiful, it was really well machined and very artistic, a lot of people didn't like it. It was cumbersome. If you had smaller hands, as you were spinning it, it would hit the webbing between your thumb and your finger, and that bothered people. So now what they've done is they've made them more compact, easier to use, easier to carry, and easier to spin. So there you have it. I really, really enjoy. And it could be just because this is the only tri-wing spinner that I've ever had. Maybe that's why I enjoy it so much, because it is that much different. But I still really enjoy that one a lot. But if you want something that's going to be more compact, easier to carry, then this is definitely going to be the one for you. Now, what I would love to be able to do is turn off all the lights here and let you see the halo of light that the tritium would display when you're playing with this one, but when I turn out my lights, this camera isn't good enough in low light to do that. So you get that effect when Pepyakka 2 is spinning, but not number 3. What you'll see is you'll see a smaller ring of light that it will create if you're looking at it at the right angle, because they're only sitting right here on either side of the buttons. They're not on the ends this time. So that's pretty much it. My analysis of this is, if you're only in the market to buy the super duper 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 cheap stuff because that's all you really need to satisfy yourself, then this probably isn't going to be for you, let's be honest. It's 220 bucks, it's a lot of money. But if you like things that are of nicer quality, you want that great degree of balance, you want the extra precision that the ceramic bearings and the titanium and everything give you, and you want something that's a little bit more of a, you know, it's okay to call it a showpiece, because that's really what it's going to be at the end of the day when you're showing it to somebody. This is certainly going to be a lot more impressive than somebody's piece of plastic that they printed off their 3D printer and charged you, you know, 20, 30 bucks for in their Etsy store. It's also a numbered limited edition. Here's the thing, and I don't want to tell you that spinners are worth money and that they're going to appreciate in value. However, we saw what happened with the torque bars. Oh my God, it's insane how much money they end up being worth when they're not doing a production run at the time. The day that I got my Pepyakka 2 and I made a post about it, I immediately got 5 offers in my direct messages for $500 and $600, because by the time I received mine, they were already sold out. That's the thing. When Custom Knife Factory puts these up on their website, they sell out within minutes, no matter how many they make. They're gone, and they don't make them again. They make a different variation. So like I said, $500, $600 I was offered for mine. As you can see, I didn't take those offers. And this one is probably going to do the exact same thing. So while it sells for $220, the first wave is already shipped out. I believe there is a second wave that you can get in on the orders directly at from Russia with knives.com. These are probably going to end up going up in value a little bit once they've sold out. There's no assurance of that. I have no idea. And the fact that Custom Knife Factory is literally making one after the other, does that depreciate the value? I don't know. The fact that each model that they make is, you know, a complete 180 from the previous version, you know, allows each version to be special. No two are ever even remotely alike, so maybe that's going to help. I know that Pepyakka version 4 is on its way in the next couple of months, I think in June. They're not showing any pictures of it because, of course, the Chinese clone factories are knocking them off every time they put their design out there early, so they're not doing that. But from the little teaser picture they have, I believe it's going to be another 3-arm design. I might be wrong. That just could be what they decided to use for their teaser. I don't know. But I believe it'll be a tri-wing. So if you want one set up like this, this is pretty much the only way to go. I think it looks fantastic, it feels great, it carries well, and it is just glass smooth. So that's, wow, 18 minutes I spent on this. Can you believe that shit? 18 minutes on fidget hand spinners. Well, there you go. So that is my, my little overview of the Pepyakka series of the 2.0 and 3. And we'll see what happens when version 4 comes out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Go to FromRussiaWithKnives.com if you want to purchase one, because remember, their primary business is making knives. That's what they do. This is one of their knives right here. And they recognized how popular these were in the industry. They obviously do some really, really nice machine work. So they figured, hey, if we already have the talent to machine beautiful looking knives, why not capitalize on this while this is the hot thing? So that's why we want to go directly to their website. It's the only way that you can buy them, so keep that in mind.